Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So we're starting our front page review with The Nation. As usual, we have the Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory making a very public display of all the things they've achieved and that they're commissioning. But their stories. Lagos fully aligned with Tinubu, says Sanwo-Olu. Domestic forex inflow highest in 6 years. CBN gives validation. Alake in Australia. Varsity over mining partnership. Security firm joins forces with Navy on Ondo waterways. What story are we starting with?
All right, I have a story on the domestic inflow being the highest it has ever been in 6 years. The inflow of foreign exchange into the economy from domestic sources is now at its highest in 6 years, according to a Central Bank of Nigeria report. Now, the report showed a broadly steady business expansionary trend despite marginal fluctuations across the sectors. This came as the forex inflow from domestic sources into the Nigerian foreign exchange market rose to a 6-year high on the back of steep increases in inflows from private sources other than the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now, the latest Purchasing Managers Index report released by the CBN indicates that the PMI has remained above the 50-point threshold for the 6th consecutive month. And so we have all the sectors, staying above the expansionary point mark, which is good news. For instance, we have the agricultural sector. The PMI stood at 53.4 points in May 2025, compared with 53.8 points in the previous month. And then we also have the other services sector. For instance, the PMI stood at 51.7 points from 51.8 points. According to analysts, foreign exchange inflows will continue to improve, supported by the growing market confidence. And so we can look ahead and expect sustained expansion in private sector activity, which is now underpinned by improving macroeconomic fundamentals, such as a more stable naira and in moderating inflation.
Okay, so we are happy to see money coming in.
Yes.
What other story do you have?
Just before we went live, we were talking about buildings and affordable housing in Lagos State. So an expert has come to say that there are reasons why building collapse will not stop, especially in Lagos State. We are talking about Gabriel Adeyemi. He has identified like 3 major reasons for the incessant building collapse across the country, particularly in Lagos Island, noting that unless these issues are addressed, it will continue to happen. And we've heard of death and all those collapse in Lagos State. According to him, use of substandard materials and technology, overloaded foundation soil due to conversion of bungalows to story buildings. You have the permission to build bungalow and then people are turning it into story building. Yeah, and then you know that most of the foundations can carry a certain level of story buildings. He also said raising of groundwater table during rainy season is one of the reasons we have this collapse. Also, the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute agrees with him, saying that what he has mentioned, the reasons we're having collapse of buildings, poor construction, substandard materials, and then some of these artisans who are not professionals, they just want to dabble into building. Okay, I sabi, they just do it. And then people who are even professionals, they want to cut corners. So all these are some of the reasons these collapses are happening, and it will continue to happen unless these issues are tackled.
All right, let me quickly take the story of Lagos governor. The governor made a statement that some people are crying more than the bereaved, and some people are more Catholic than the Pope. There's no rift between him and the president.
Really?
That he's smiling, the president is smiling, he just received them with the GAC, and that Lagos has pledged 100% support for the president, and they appreciate the good work he has done in the 2 years of the administration. So the rumors
Are not true.
are not true. According to the governor, he said that the president has received them into his house, and Lagos is fully aligned with the president. So those of you looking
for handshakes,
just keep quiet. Don't become more Catholic than the Pope. Moving on to the Punch. Major headline: ground rent. 34 embassies risk closure by Tuesday. The FCTA probes PDP, FIRS, others payment. Tinubu approved extension. The approved extension ends on Tuesday. German, Russia, Turkey defaulters list. Another news. Tinubu Sanwo-Olu reunites after GAC talks. Disco raises bill by 107% despite poor power supply. So can we take the ground rent before we go on a break?
All right, I have the ground rent. Do you have it?
No.
Okay, I have the ground rent story. Let me just take it quickly. So according to reports, 34 embassies in Abuja currently risk being closed by the Federal Capital Territory Administration over unpaid ground rent spanning 11 years. Now, we have heard that the opposition People's Democratic, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, and the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons were previously listed as defaulters, but they have now gone ahead to settle their ground rent. So we're now hearing that many foreign missions have not paid their ground rent since 2014, with the affected diplomatic missions currently owing about 3,662,196 naira. However, the president has intervened and granted them a 14-day grace period, which ends today, to affected property holders to settle their outstanding obligations. Go and pay your ground rent.
Awesome. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll continue with the front page review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.